Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Please have mercy, make me one of your men, cause my people lost. Try to take them where you found them. It's where you found me, but this earth is hell surroundings. Satan's head is everywhere, I flip a new page.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Right, shalom.
Welcome to the Yahweh and Yahshua Speak television show. We're broadcasting from Yahweh and Yahshua's temple at 725 Howard Street in Evanston, Illinois. We're glad that you have tuned in to this show, and we are on part 2 of How Far Away from the Father's Business Are You? How far away from the Father's business are you? Let's start out in Judges, the 13th chapter. And we were looking in this series at the fact that when Yahshua was 12 years old, he was in the temple, and then his parents were looking for him. They had come to the temple once a year for the Pesach, the Passover, as they do. We're going to Judges 13. And Yahshua stayed, and then they didn't realize he wasn't with them. And they were looking for him. They came back, and they looked for him for 3 days. And then when his mother came and told him, "Hey, son, why did you do this to us? We've been looking all over for you." And he said, "What's wrong with you all? Why didn't you know I would be about my Father's business? Why didn't you look in the temple first?" So on the weekly Shabbat, why don't you look for us in the temple first? Right? Amen. If this is not the first place that we have on our agenda to be at, then Yahweh gonna check us. We don't have to check anybody.
Right.
All right, but he told him at 12 years old, and then we saw that his parents didn't understand what he was saying. Well, they're not alone. Yosef and Miriam, they were believers.
Right.
They were true yoke fellows.
Right.
But as we go through this life, there are things that Yahweh shows us to where we get closer and closer and closer to His business.
That's right.
Closer and closer and closer to Him. And we want to stay in His presence 100%.
That's
and
it,
He's going to let us
100%.
know what things take us out of His presence,
Yes.
so we can get back in His presence.
Yes.
All right, we're in Judges, the 13th chapter. So we had started looking at how Yahweh is so concerned about His business getting done.
Oh, yeah.
That He starts giving the parents instructions before the children are even conceived.
Right.
Much less born.
I know,
the woman hasn't even gotten pregnant yet. And Yahweh's given the man and the woman instructions.
Right. Okay.
All right. So now, the last scripture that we had looked at on the last show is in Judges 13. And we had stopped at verse 14. And we're going to pick it up a little lower, but I want to just repeat this verse. Judges 13 and verse 14. And let's read that, sis.
And the angel of Yahweh said,
Judges 13 and 14.
Oh, okay. She may not eat of anything that cometh of the wine.
The vine.
Neither let her drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. All that I commanded her, let her observe.
Now this is a Malachim. It says the Malach of Yahweh.
Right.
Which in some scriptures, once you study it out, it sounds like it was Yahshua. All right? The Malach of Yahweh. We're not going to go into that. But here, whatever this Malach was saying, he was saying what Yahweh told him to say.
That's right.
He wasn't ad-libbing. All right? That's why we don't ad-lib.
That's right.
If the doctor says something, don't go ad-libbing. You better go in the Word and see what the Word says. If somebody else says something, don't go repeating what they say. You're not a parrot. Okay? Yahweh wants you to think.
Yeah.
But he said, he telling her husband, she may not eat of anything that cometh of the vine. All right? No grapes, no raisins, whatever's on the vine, she can't eat that. Why? Because the Malach told her, Yahweh through the Malach told her she was going to have a Nazarite.
Right.
That's a certain kind of person in our Hebrew nation. And we looked at the laws concerning the Nazarite,
Right,
where
right.
they couldn't do certain things, they weren't supposed to eat certain things, they were to act a certain way. Well, we become Nazarites to Yahweh now,
Hallelujah.
so there's certain things we are prevented and barred from doing.
Right.
Yes, yes.
All right, now if we go do them, then that's our ignorance. But he
Okay.
says she's not supposed to eat anything that cometh of the vine. She's not supposed to drink wine, yain, or coag drink.
Right, right.
No whiskey. All right, nor eat anything unclean.
Right,
No
right.
shrimp, lobster, crab, none of that. And the angel saying all that I commanded her, but he's talking for
Right,
Yahweh. All that
right.
Yahweh commanded her, let her observe, let her do it. Now this is before she even conceived the child,
Right, right.
because he was going to be a Nazarite. Now, all right, the English word, when the angel said let her beware, is the Hebrew word shamar. That's S-H-A-M-A-R, found at Blue Letter Bible number 8104. Jacinius Hebrew Chaldee Lexicon defines beware as keep watch.
Yeah,
So every
yeah.
time she sit down to eat or drink, keep watch.
Right.
Make sure you don't have that unclean stuff,
Right, right,
or go to
right.
somebody's house and they have it
Right.
for you to eat or drink.
Y'all right,
To guard as a garden. That's what he told the first man to do.
Right, right,
To
right.
guard that garden. Watch it, protect it. To guard it as a flock, as a house. You don't let anything come up in your house. You don't let
Right.
somebody come up in your house and smoke a joint.
I know,
Or
right?
what they call them, a blunt.
Right.
I've lost the language now and I'm
Yeah.
not trying to regain it. But you don't let them come up in your house with their heroin and shoot up.
Right.
I hope you don't. Right.
Nothing of, not of y'all.
Said to guard it as a watchman of cattle, to keep as a shepherd, especially to keep and reserve in mind and memory.
Okay.
So he's telling the man and the woman, don't let her forget.
Right.
This is what she's supposed to be doing. It's serious.
Yeah.
To attend to honor, to worship as Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
To take heed to oneself.
Okay.
So she had
Check
to take all this
yourself.
on, and this is me speaking, I believe she wouldn't have got pregnant if she wasn't going to
All right.
do what Yahweh said.
Right.
A man,
See, because Yahweh's the one that
Right.
gives the child, Yahweh's the one that stops the conception. All right? All right, Judges, let's skip down 13th chapter, let's skip down to verse 24.
Hallelujah.
And the woman bare a son, and called his name Samson. And the child grew, and Yahweh blessed him.
25.
And the spirit of Yahweh began to move him at times in the camp of David, between Zorah and Eshtaol.
All right, said the Iyshshah, she had a son. She Korah his Shimshon. That's the Hebrew, Shimshon.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Zakar grew, and Yahweh baraked him. So they were instructing this child in the ways of the Nazarite and telling
Right.
him about Yahweh
Right.
and what he was supposed to do. Remember
Right.
in the first show, we said that Yahweh told the Iyshshah his lifetime career before she
Yeah.
even
Right,
conceived
right,
him
right,
as a child.
Right.
Well, Yahweh tells us the same thing for our children.
Hallelujah.
We might not specifically know whether they're going to stand behind the podium or
Right,
man the camera or what they're going to do, but their lifetime career is serving Yahweh.
Yeah.
Now, if we dropped the ball and didn't tell them that,
Right.
hey, guess who it's on? But now after they hit 20, it's on them.
Okay.
But if they're under 20, that's on us to let them
Right,
know.
right,
If they say, Dad, get away from me,
Right.
at least you told them.
right.
All right, it's all for you. It said, then the Ruach of Yahweh began to move this child at times. Why? Because he was in line with what Yahweh said from his parents' training. And training is not you just tell them and then you go on.
I know, right?
Training is intensive.
Yeah.
Training is you keep telling them,
Right.
you keep telling them. Just like children will leave the door open. Close that door, close that door, close that door, close that door, close that door. There's no set number of times. You keep telling them till you see, okay, they're closing the door now.
Right, right.
Whatever it is. Because some people think, okay, well, I told my child once.
I know, right?
Obviously, you haven't been reading the Bible. All right? So now the English word Samson is the Hebrew word Shimshon. That's S-H-I-M-S-H-O-W-N. found at Blue Letter Bible number 8123, and his name means sunlight. Jacinius Hebrew Chaldee Lexicon defines it as meaning solar, like the sun. All right, let's go to Judges, the 14th chapter. So now, the parents did their part. Shimshon is grown.
Okay.
Now we're going to look at what Shimshon is doing after he got 20 years old.
Okay.
He was older than 20. We don't specifically know how old he was,
Right, right.
but he was grown, which
Right,
means he
right.
was over 20.
Right.
Now it's on him. His
Yes.
parents did their part.
That right.
All right. Now let's see how he took care of the father's business as an adult. Now his parents took care of the business.
Right, right.
All right. They did
Brought
their
him
part.
up. They brought him up.
There you go. So when the man 21 years old and he's not doing, don't be yelling at the man. It's like, but if you didn't do your job, then it takes some further instruction.
Yeah,
Because your 21-year-old is kind of like a 9 or 10-year-old.
Yeah.
All right? But then that's on you. Don't be bringing them up to the
All right,
temple
right.
for
Tell
us
it
to
like
try
it
to
is.
straighten them out. Unless
Right.
you're going to give us free reign, because then, Yahweh get them straight.
Yep.
All right, Judges 14, let's start at verse 1. Now we look
Hallelujah.
at how he handles the father's business as an adult. All
Right.
right, 14:1.
And Samson went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of Philistines.
2.
And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now, therefore, get her for me to wife.
Verse 3.
Then his father and his mother said unto him, Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, that thou getst to take a wife of the unconscious, uncircumcised Philistines? And Samson said unto his father, Get her for me, for she pleaseth me well.
All right, so now we see Shimshon as an adult,
Yep.
and he's a model for what some Hebrew adults are doing now.
Yep.
All right, he saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistine, Hamites.
Right.
Yahweh told us of those nations,
Right.
don't be looking, don't take them in marriage for your daughter or your
Right.
son.
Thus says Yahweh.
What is he over there looking and seeing somebody that looks real good to him? And then he comes back and he tells his father and mother,
I
okay,
know.
you all cooperate with me in this sin.
Right.
We had said before, you got to be careful when people asking you to join with them and doing stuff.
Yeah,
Because
gotta
guess
take it out.
what? When that lick comes, the lick from up above, both of y'all going to get slapped.
I know.
All right? Because you join in with
That's
some mess. All right? So then it says, his Abba and his in, verse 3, Amar unto him, is there never a Iyshshah among Shabbat of thy ark, among the Hebrews,
Right.
among all my am, that thou goest to take an Iyshshah of the uncircumcised Philistines? You want to get this pagan woman?
I know, right?
She might look good, but Yahweh said, leave her alone,
Right.
because she's going to separate you from me.
That's right.
It's like, stop being hard-headed. And Shimshon, Amar to his Abba, gave him a chance to say, okay, you know what, y'all told me about that, so I'm not going to do it. What does he do? Get her for me, for she pleases me well. He goes on. See, sometimes Yahweh, he will, not sometimes, he'll give you a check in your spirit. He'll have a brother or sister that loves you, tell you, but if you come back with your hard head and don't listen,
Right.
then you know what? We have a choice. It's just like, you know what? Hey, go and do what you want to do.
Right.
All right? And you may even hear us say that.
Right.
Go and do what you want to do. Ain't nobody
That's
going to
right.
sit here and try to
You made up your
convince you
mind
not to go against what you know Yahweh said.
I know.
All right? But his father and mother told him, so you understand, they told him who he was supposed to marry.
Amen.
So just because you're a Nazarite don't mean you can't get married.
Right.
Right.
All right? Verse 4.
But his father and his mother knew not that it was of Yahweh that he sought an occasion against the Philistines, for at that time the Philistines had dominion over Israel.
Now here's a little twist now, because Yahweh understood how Shimshon was, he had that little rebelliousness in him like we all do.
Right. We don't check.
They said his Abba and his yada not that it was of Yahweh that he was over there lusting after the Hamite Philistine.
Right.
He said because Yahweh was looking for an occasion against the Philistines.
Yeah.
Because the Philistines had conquered, they had dominion over Israel. See, remember Shimshon's lifelong career was to be a judge.
Right.
For Yahweh to use him to rescue and deliver Israel out of the hand of their captives.
Right.
Their captors. The only reason they were in their hands was because they turned their back on Yahweh and they were rebelling against Yahweh.
Right.
All right? So, Yahweh brought this to pass and used Samson's lustful nature to use Samson to be upset with the Philistine and go to war against him. All right? See, so, because sometimes if we don't do what Yahweh wants straight out, then Yahweh will have us do it another way. All right? Verse 5.
Then went Samson down, and his father and his mother, to Timnath, and came to the vineyards of Timnath. And behold, a young lion roared against him.
Verse 6.
And the Spirit of Yahweh came mightily upon him, and he rent him as he would have rent a pig. And he had nothing in his hand, but he told not his father nor his mother what he had done.
Now, here Yahweh says he ran across a lion that was dead. All right, well actually he killed the lion. Let me see here. Then went Shimshon down, and his Abba and to Timnath, so they said, you know what, he's rebellious, he's hard-headed, let's go on down here with him. They came to the vineyards of Timnath, and then there was a young lion separated from his father and mother, came against Shimshon, and then it says the Ruach of Yahweh came upon Shimshon, because one thing about him was his strength. All right, Yahweh's going to show us in these facts that his strength was what caused him, how the Ruach caused him to judge Israel. All right, and it was him not cutting his hair. That's what we saw, the law of the Nazarite, was where the men did not and the women did not cut their hair if it was from birth. If it was not from birth and they made a vow to Yahweh, then they shaved their hair clean for a certain period of time. All right, but in Shimshon's case, his strength was from him not cutting his hair. And so it says the strength came on him through the Ruach, and he tore that lion in half like he was a small goat. And it says he did it barehanded. But he didn't tell his father and mother what he had done. All right, verse 7, and this is key now. He didn't tell. See, when sometimes if you do something and then you don't tell the righteous people what you've done, then you set them up to sin. And Yahweh's going to get you for it. Don't set us up.
Right.
You did something wrong, and then you're going to come and try to get it. And let's see what Shimshon did. All right.
And he went down and talked with the woman, and she pleased Samson well.
Verse 8.
And after a time he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion, and behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey, and in the carcass of the lion, the carcass of the lion.
Yes.
And he took thereof in his hands and went on eating, and came to his father and mother, and he gave them, and they did eat. But he told not then that he had taken the honey and out of the carcass of the lion.
No, that was wrong.
Yeah.
The lion was dead, right?
Yeah.
Dead carcass. So you see, his parents were righteous. Again, now they already told him up further, is there never a Hebrew woman that you want to get married to among your people? Now you're lusting after this Hamite woman. And now, all right, he killed the lion. He didn't let him know he had killed his lion.
Right.
Now here he's coming back. He lusted to the woman, and I guess he went in to her and fornicated with her. or either he married her. Either way, Yahweh told him, don't be marrying these pagans. So now he sees there's bees and honey. They done built a little honeycomb inside the body of the dead lion.
Right.
Well, Samson eats some of it. See, that's strike two with Samson. We're just looking at the strikes. We're seeing how far away from Yahweh's business are you.
Okay.
Are you conducting Yahweh's business and you close to it, or are you getting further and further away from it?
Right.
So
Right.
not only
Like
did
it
he
is.
eat it,
So
but now he's going to take some. It says he took thereof in his hands, went on eating. He came to his Abba and his Im, and he gave to them this unclean stuff.
Right.
You eat all the lobsters and shrimp you want. But don't be inviting me to your house, and then you got some soup, and then you lie to me and tell me there's not a piece of pork, or you didn't simmer it with the pork before you made the soup.
Right.
Don't do that, because Yahweh's going to get you.
Right.
Yahweh sees everything we do, but that was wrong for Shimshon to do. So he's just showing us like prototypes. Shimshon was a real, actual person. He lived his life, and these are the things he did.
Right.
But he's also showing us prototypes of people where you can see them do a variation of what Shimshon did to help us not to do it and to learn from it. All right? He said they ate it because they thought it was just honey from regular honey.
Right.
He didn't tell them that he had taken the honey out of the dead body of the lion.
Right.
Because they would not have eaten it.
Right.
All right? Let's go to Leviticus, the 22nd chapter. And keep your hand in Judges, because we're going to come back to Judges, the 14th chapter. Leviticus 22. Now, Shimshon knew this scripture because his parents had told him.
Yeah.
But we want to look at it and see how it was wrong.
Right.
He made them an accomplice of something Yahweh said don't do.
Right.
Leviticus 22 and one verse. Verse 8.
Hallelujah.
Leviticus 22 and 8.
That which dealt of my soul.
No, diet.
Diet of itself, or is torn with beasts, he shall not eat to defile himself therewith. I am Yahweh.
There it is. So Shimshon knew that.
Right.
His parents knew that.
Right.
That was wrong of him to not let him know where that honey came from. He just let them assume that he had got it legal means.
Right. That it was clean.
All right? That which dieth of itself or is torn with beasts, he shall not eat to defile himself therewith. I am Yahweh. They didn't eat the lion, but the honey was right there as a part of the lion.
Right.
I remember years ago, this brother told me that Yahweh was using him to refine me on some things of Yahweh. And he told me about how this sister had offered him something. Oh, I think it was some greens or something. Had cooked it with the pork, but took the pork out. And then they were saying, okay, no, there's no pork in there. I just cooked it with it and I took it out. He said, no, it's in the water.
Right.
And it was like Yahweh telling me, oh, you know what, this brother, he's right. It's in the water.
Yeah.
So see, men of Yahweh, they can tell you some stuff. So Yahweh had to kind of refine and tweak me because I might have got a slice of pizza and picked the pork off.
Right.
You understand? But that was Yahweh helping me to see, oh, you know what, he's right. It's all in the juice.
Right.
All right? Let's go back to Judges 14. So that was wrong of him to do that to his parents. And we'll pick it up at verse 10. Judges 14 and verse 10.
So his father went down unto the woman, and Samson made there a feast, for so used the young men to do.
And now remember, Samson's grown, so his parents are just, hey,
not accountable.
going along, right, So they went down to the Iyshshah, this Hamite, and Samson, Shimshon made a feast there, and so the young men, Adam used to do. Verse 11.
And it came to pass, when they saw him, that they bought 30 companions to be with him. 12. And Samson said unto them, I will now put forth a riddle unto you, if ye can certainly declare it me within the 7 days of the feast, and find it out, then I will give you 30 sheets and 30 change of garments.
13.
But If ye cannot declare it me, that shall ye give me 30 sheets and 30 change of garments. And they said unto him, Put forth thy riddle, that we may hear it.
Now, it says, Shimshon, verse 12, it came to pass, 11, when they saw Shimshon, they brought 30 companions to be with him. Now, these were all pagan people.
Right.
Not his brothers, the Hebrews. These were all Hamites,
Yep.
30 companions to be with him.
Yep.
And now, here comes Samson, he playing. He gonna put forth a riddle. Do you know anybody in your life that they always got a joke or a riddle? I mean, there's nothing wrong with telling jokes, but my goodness, or they always got a riddle. I bet you don't know this one. All right, so now he gonna put forth a riddle, and then he lets her know what the riddle is. He said, okay, I'll give you 30 changes of garments if you can solve this riddle. All right, verse 14. He's supposed to be telling about Yahweh, right?
Right.
He's supposed to be, this is his lifelong career.
Right.
But you see now the personality that as an adult he's taken on. All right, verse 14.
And he said unto them, Out of the eater came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness, and they could not in these days.
In 3,
In 3 days expound the middle.
the riddle.
Oh, the riddle, okay.
All right, verse 15.
And it came to pass on the 7th day that they said unto Samson, Wife, Iyshshah,
Entice.
entice thy husband, and he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn
Burn.
lest we burn thee and thy father's house with fire. Have ye called us to take that we have? Is it not so?
All right, now. Here's where, what is the rubber meets the road. He got him a pagan Iyshshah.
Yeah.
If he had had a Hebrew Iyshshah, a believer who knew Yahweh, when they came threatening to burn her father's house down with fire, what she would have did was been joined with Shimshon, and she would have went to him and said, look here, they're telling me I better tell them this riddle or else they're going to burn my father's house down. And then Shimshon, hey, all the Ruach had to do was come on him. He would have dealt with all of them.
Right.
But you see, he married the wrong one, so it couldn't turn out right.
Right.
It can't turn out right.
Hallelujah. Thus says
It
Yahweh.
says, okay, he put forth the riddle. Came to pass after 7 days. Then they came to his Iyshshah. Okay. Are you all in agreement? Or you're for yourself? You one and one, or are you two together?
Right.
And it comes to every marriage relationship. When you got a good marriage, you understand there's a protocol when you're dealing with a husband and a wife.
Yeah.
You don't go to just the husband and deal with him. You don't go to the wife and just deal with her. You don't come to the husband or the wife and say, I'm going to tell you something, but you can't tell your husband or your wife. People do that when they don't understand.
Right.
When you married, like Yahweh said, you're one.
One. Akkad.
So if you come to me and say that, I'm going to tell you, ew, don't tell me that, because now, if I can't tell it to my, hey, we won. But it's just a lack of understanding. They don't mean no harm.
Right.
But here you see this woman, she traded out on him. Well, she couldn't help it because she's believing in a pagan Elohim.
Right.
She didn't know Yahweh.
Right.
Shimshon should have never been trying to, acting like she looked so pretty. She might look pretty, but hey, she's going to take you to the pit of whatever.
I know,
She's going to pull you down. When you need some help, hey, she's saying, hey, ain't no help. I know this little statue I'm worshiping, that can't help me. All right, verse 16.
And Samson's wife
Wept.
wept before him and said, Thou dost but hate me and lovest me not. Thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and hast not told it me. And he said unto her, Behold, I have not told it my father and my mother, and shall I tell it there.
D. 17.
And she wept before him the 7 days while their feast lasted. And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her because she lay sore upon him. And she told the riddle to the children of her people.
All right, so it took 7 days with the woman. Don't let a man or a woman manipulate your feelings.
I know, right?
And it's one thing. It's different when a man is bereaving and in compassion. Because I remember my Iysh at the funeral of well, actually, it wasn't even at the funeral. It was afterward. And we were at the Temple of God in Jesus Christ. And we were just remembering Messenger Davis's first wife. And Micaiah actually shed tears. But you know, you had this rebellious brother stand up, yeah, you know, I liked her and I wouldn't shed a tear. I'm thinking, ugh. Right, just like you just said, ugh.
Right.
But so, when a man sheds a tear like that, okay, that's still a man.
Right.
But for some man to come and cry to you so they can have their way,
I know, right?
that's a turn off. That's a turn
manipulator.
off. That's a ooh.
That's
And
a
if
weak
a
guy.
sister does that,
Right?
that's a turn off.
Sure did. Trying to
What
blame.
she did was she manipulated
Right.
him, gave him as much, you know, whatever as he wanted, and lay on him and lay on him.
Yeah.
All right? Then him, now you done married this pagan woman. How you figure you can trust her? You married the wrong person. How you think they're going to act like a righteous person? They can't. They're going to do what they do. So he, first of all, he lost his head when he married the woman.
Right.
Now, he done lost his head when he thinking she going to act like a Hebrew Israelite. She's not a Hebrew Israelite.
Right.
So he told her.
Don't get
All right.
twisted.
So then verse 18, she traded on him. She just did what she does.
Right.
You can't blame the woman.
Right.
Blame the bozo that married her, right?
Right.
18.
And the Spirit of Yahweh came upon him, and he went down.
Are you in verse 18? Chapter
I'm
14, 18?
Oh, no.
Okay.
And the men of the city said unto him on the 7th day, before he went down, what is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion? And he said unto them, if ye had not plowed with my heifer, ye had not found out my river.
See? So he said, you know what? That's low down.
Right.
If you hadn't plowed with this, you know, the modern, they use the word beef.
Yeah.
All right? But I remember when we were growing up, my grandmother was from South Carolina. She used to call us heifers. All right? But not in a mean way, but it just when we were doing something, you better get yourself together. And she said, look, heifer, get over here and stop that. All right? But he said, here come the Adam of the city, Amaran unto him, on the 7th day, was sweeter than honey, was stronger than a lion. And he said unto them, see, the Ruach revealed it to him.
Right.
But he shot his own self in the foot. So this was Yahweh helping him as an adult to get closer to his business, because the things he was trying, even though it was foolishness, they weren't working out. They can never work out when you're trying to do it your own way.
Right.
And be disobedient.
Y'all right, so the hams can know.
All right, so
Y'all like
Samson's wife conspired against him.
it. Uh-huh.
Now this English word, he said, if you hadn't plowed with my heifer,
Right.
all right? That English word plowed is the Hebrew word karash. If you hadn't karash, C-H-A-R-A-S-H, found at Blue Letter Bible number 2790. Is defined by Jacinius Hebrew Chaldee Lexicon as to devise evil things to cut one's throat.
Yeah.
She cut her husband's throat.
Right.
She joined with that's what I'm saying. When you deal with a marriage relationship, you have to look at the Elohim head to understand when two people are together, you don't go in there telling one thing. You don't do that.
No.
She said if you had it, karash means to plow in iniquity, to sow evil, to prepare it for a time to come.
Right, right,
So she set her husband up
right,
to look like a fool. But again, I don't blame it on her.
right, right.
She's just doing what she's doing. She's part of the
Right.
world. All right. The English word heifer in the Hebrew is also another Hebrew word, eglah. That's E-G-L-A-H. This made me think about having egg on your face. Samson Shimshon ended up having egg on his face. It's found in Blue Letter Bible number 5697. It's also defined as a female calf, especially one nearly grown, a calf, a cow, or a heifer. So he's saying if you hadn't used my cow to try to cut my throat and set me up, you would have known what this riddle was. All right, let's read verse 19, Judges 14 and 19.
Okay. And the Spirit of Yahweh came upon him, and he went down to Askelon and slew 30 men of them, and took their spoil, and gave change of garments unto them, which expounded the middle.
The riddle, expounded the riddle.
Riddle. And his anger was kindled, and he went up to his father's house.
Verse 20.
But Samson's wife was given to his companion, whom he had used as his friend.
So you see how, remember we read, now this was from Yahweh. But he didn't make Samson marry this pagan woman.
No.
He knew Samson had that rebellious nature, and he was lusting, and everything looked good to him but Israel
Right.
as an Iyshshah. So he used that to try to turn him around. So you see now here, it says the Ruach of Yahweh came upon him. So Yahweh's helping him out. And he went and he got the 30 garments or, whatever he had bet on this riddle. And then it says, Shimshon's Iyshshah was given to his companion,
Right.
whom he used as a friend. Somebody that was hanging around him always wanted the woman.
One of his homeboys.
You have people that hang around you that always want the man.
Right.
So you better have, even though you in Yahweh, you better have your eyes open and your ears alert. But when y'all both righteous, you still don't just be ignorant and just ignore things.
Right.
But now they gave him, his wife, to his friend.
Right.
All right. Now let's go to chapter 15. So after Shimshon gets mistreated by the strange woman and her family, he finally starts taking care of Father Yahweh's business. After he goes through some stuff.
Right.
15 verse 1.
But it came to pass within a while after, in the time of wheat harvest, that Samson visited his wife with a kid. And he said, I will go in to my wife into the chamber. But her father would not suffer him to go in.
Verse 2.
And her father said, I verily thought that thou hast utterly hated her. Therefore I gave her to thy companion. Is not her younger sisters fairer than she? Take her, I pray thee, instead of her.
Now, so you see how these pagan people just say,
right.
all right, you know what, you can't have her, just go into her sister. Just all nasty. And I like what Ra said in another show, just nastiness. Like, okay, well, she not available. You can't go back into her because I gave her to your best friend. But just take her sister. Like, come on now, what, you just going to go down the family line? And that's what people in the world do. They'll go down the family line. That's why Yahweh said, don't deal with your near of kin.
Right.
There was a time in Genesis when they were populating the earth, but don't do that nastiness now.
Right.
So he said, hey, you know what? I thought you hated her, so I gave her to your friend. So, hey, her sister, she's prettier than her, so go into her. In other words, he's telling him, Yahweh's telling Shimshon through him, you deal on a carnal level.
Right.
Okay, she's prettier than the wife that you had. See how pretty she is. So go into her. That's your criteria. All right, verse 3.
And Samson said concerning them now, shall I be more blameless than the Philistines, though I do them a displeasure?
Verse 4.
And Samson went and caught the 100 foxes.
300.
300 foxes, and took firebrands and turned tails to tails, and put firebrand in the midst between two tails.
Verse 5.
And when he had set the brads on fire, he let them go unto the standing corn of the Philistines, and burnt up both the stalks and also the standing corn with the vineyards and olives.
Verse 6.
Then the Philistines said, Who hath done this? And they answered, Samson, the son-in-law of the Tamar, because he had taken his wife and given her to his companion. And the Philistines came up and burnt her with her father with fire.
Now, see, now this is Yahweh doing this. But now Shimshon's finally standing up and doing what Yahweh told him to do.
Right.
He decided he got some foxtails or whatever, and he made some kind of circle and ended up burning up the Philistines' corn. Then the Philistines said, oh, hey, who done this? And they answered, Shimshon, Haban in Torah of the Timnite, because he had taken his Iyshshah and given her to his companion. If we would only hear that fervor for Yahweh.
Right.
Yeah.
I was joking with a sister where they were up and just ready to go to catch some transportation, and then I told them, hey, the jig is up now. I see you all up and bristly and ready to go. I said, so now when we get ready to go to temple, I want to see that same thing. When you're up and you're ready, don't be waiting till the last minute. I said, hey, what is it? The genie is out of the bottle now. I see it.
Right.
So I want you to continue doing
Right.
that.
Praise Yahweh.
That's right. It says, so the Philistine came up and burnt her and her father. All right? And Yahweh was behind that. Why? Because Shimshon now is doing what he called him to do.
Right.
All right, verse 7.
And Samson said unto them, Though ye have done this, yet will I be avenged of you, and after that I will cease.
8.
And he smote them hip and thigh with a great slaughter, and he went down and dealt in the top of the rock,
Etam.
Etam.
All right? So Shimshon said, hey, y'all upset with doing this? Let me show you what I'm going to do. He said, yeah, will I be avenged of you, and after that I will cease. Well, he's the one that got all wrapped up in them, but either way, Yahweh said he going to do my will some kind of way. He going to judge Israel some kind of way. After that, he smote the Philistines, hip and thigh, with a great slaughter. And he went down and dwelt in the top of the rock, Etam. All right? We're in Judges 15. We're going to skip down to verse 14. So now you see, taking care of Yahweh's business.
Right.
Started getting Shimshon enemies. Just like when you stand up and take care of Yahweh's business, and the closer you get to taking care of it, and the better Yahweh makes you get at it, guess what you're going to have? Enemies!
Enemy, it is written.
But that's all right. They're not upset with you, they're upset with Yahweh.
Right.
And Yahweh protects you.
Yes, he
All
does.
right, let's read verse 14, 15 and 14.
And when he came unto Lehi, the Philistines shouted against him, and the Spirit of Yahweh came mightily upon him, and the cords that were upon his arms became a flax that was burnt with fire, and his bondage loosened from his hands.
All right, so now they're going to try different things to try to okay, he's strong.
Right.
If we can just bind him up. So they
Right.
tied him with something. But it says, they shouted against him, and the Ruach came on him, and whatever was tied on his arms, he just, he broke that. No problem.
Right.
All right, why? Because he's in the middle of doing Yahweh's will.
Hallelujah.
It don't have nothing to do with him being strong. He's in the
No.
middle of doing Yahweh's will.
Right.
You're strong, I'm strong.
Hallelujah.
Why?
Yahweh said, we are strong
Right in
in
the middle of Yahweh's
Yahweh.
will.
And the power
That's where the
of his
strength
might.
comes from. All right, verse 15.
And he found a new jawbone of a donkey, and put forth his hand, and took it, and slew 1,000 men therewith.
Now he's cooking with gas now. He's in the Ruach now,
Right.
doing what Yahweh called him
Right.
to do, to
Right.
judge Israel.
Right.
And the fight for Yisrael.
Yes,
He took the jawbone of a donkey and killed 1,000 Hamites with it. All right, 16.
And Samson said, with the jawbone of a donkey, heaps upon heaps, with the jaw of a donkey, have I slain 1,000 men.
And I don't know how big a donkey is, but it seemed like that's
ain't big.
No, but it was like when the Ruach is with you.
Right.
However big that donkey head was, it was as big as this book or whatever. He just took a 1,000 men.
I know, right?
And now he's praising Yahweh. And Shimshon Amar with the jawbone of a donkey, heaps upon heaps. With the jaw of a donkey have I slain 1,000 Adam. All right? And that's the Ruach saying that through him.
Right.
All right? 17.
And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking, that he cast away the jawbone out of his hand, and called that place
Ramoth Lehi.
Ramoth Eli.
Okay, 18.
And he came, was sore after, and called.
Okay, well, hold, slow down now. 18, let's start again.
And he was
yes.
sore.
Thirst.
Thirst.
Thirst. Yes.
And called on Yahweh and said, Thou hast given this great deliverance into the hand of thy servant, and now shall I die for thirst and fall into the hands of the unconscious.
Uncircumcised.
Uncircumcised.
All right, 19.
But Elohim clave an hollow place that was in the jaw, and therefore came water thereout. And when he had drunk, his spirit came again, and he revolved. Wherefore he called the name thereof
In Hakor.
in Akor, which is in Lehi unto this day.
In verse 20.
And he judged Israel in the day of the Philistines 20 years.
All right, so we see Shimshon had a little unbelief in him, talking about, now, hey, I'm thirsty. Now, Yahweh, you going to let me die?
Right.
Work for you. But I mean, you know, he was human.
Right.
But the thing is, it said, then Yahweh, Elohim, he clave a hollow place in the jaw of the donkey,
Right.
and water came out of that.
Right.
Just like he made water gush out of the rock for the children of Israel in the wilderness.
Right.
So that was Yahweh responding to him and letting him know, hey, I'm with you.
Right.
I'm pleased with you.
Right.
That's what Yahweh does to us. It's
Hallelujah.
not like when you're treating Yahweh good and doing what you're supposed to do for Yahweh, everything around you start drying up. No, everything around you start prospering.
Yep.
But when you're disobeying Yahweh, everything around you starts
That's right.
drying up.
That's right.
You're going to find yourself in one of those, what's those forest fires out there in California? They just catch on fire because they're so dry, just automatically. So keep disobeying Yahweh and see what your life start just catching on fire, start burning up. So the phrase he judged Israel is recorded about Shimshon in verse 20. It says he judged Israel in the days of the Philistines 20 years. Now it's a funny thing, at the end of Shimshon's life, Yahweh uses that same phrase. So he didn't take care of much of Yahweh's business because he still used the same phrase.
Right.
He judged Israel 20 years. This is what he used at the end of 15, at verse 20, 15 and 20. He judged Israel in the days of Philistines 20 years. All right? Let's go to 16 and 1.
Hallelujah.
And we're going to, before this show is over, read that last phrase about how long he judged Israel. Yahweh said 20 years. You're going to see he didn't change it at the end of his life. 16 and 1.
Then he went to
Gaza.
and saw there an harlot, and went in unto her.
Oh, there he goes again.
You got a taste of it.
There he goes again. Prostitute.
All right.
Yeah.
He didn't just look at it like, oh, that's a prostitute. Keep
Right.
going. What did he do?
Went into the fire.
Went into it.
Right. Had relations with her.
Right.
Yeah.
So can you see he's backing away from the Father's business?
Right.
All right. Let's get down to verse 4.
And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah.
Uh-oh.
5.
And his masters of the Philistines came up unto her and said unto her, entice him, and see wherein his great strength light, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver.
Verse 6.
And Delilah said to Samson, tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee.
Now, did Delilah let you know where she stand? It
Yeah.
said Shimshon loved her, right? There's another pagan, there's another Philistine, right? Because he had no interest in the Hebrew women. All right? Came to pass, he loved Iyshshah in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. That's Philistine territory. All right? She's another Hamite. Now, here come the Philistine, because now he's their enemy because he did something for Yahweh.
Right.
Now they told her, okay, entice him. Same thing they said to his first Iyshshah, right?
Right.
Okay. Entice him and see where his strength lies. See, because if we can just get him under control,
Right.
if they can get you under control,
Hallelujah.
if they can just strangle you out and
Right.
stop Yahweh from doing what he's doing to
Hallelujah.
you, then they figure things are going to be better. But they're deceived.
That's right. It's gonna go forward no
He
matter
said,
what.
hey, see, where his strength lies.
Right.
What'd she do? Oh, no, I love Shimshon. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. She said, oh, 1,100 pieces of
I know,
silver.
right, from
She
all
went
God.
straight to him.
I know.
Okay. How you so strong? Traitor.
Right.
You know you don't need to be with anybody that...
It ain't got your
Anytime
back.
somebody says, okay, so how can I get next to them and really cause some hurt on them?
Right.
And then that person joins with them.
I know, right?
Somebody got to stop being friends with me.
I know.
Right.
So one of y'all or both of y'all.
Uh-huh.
All right, verse 7.
And Samson said unto her, if they bind me with 7 green withs that were never dried, then shall I be weak and be as another man.
Verse 8.
Then the masters of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green withs which had not been dried, and she bound him with them.
Verse 9.
Now there were men lying in wait, abiding with her in the chambers. And she said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he brake the withs as a thread of tow is broken when it toucheth the fire. So his strength was not known.
All right, so the first test, so
I know,
he's
right?
playing with her, right?
Right.
But he didn't clue in that she was wanting to cut his
I know.
throat. I
Blind.
mean, what does it take for Yahweh to let us know when we're far away from doing what he called us to
Right.
do? So he said, okay, do these little, vines or whatever. And then she said, okay, hey, here's the Philistines. And then he comes and gets up.
Right.
All right? So he was taking what Yahweh gave him for granted.
Right.
And we're going to see it cost him his life.
Yeah.
All right, verse 10.
And Delilah said unto Samson, behold, thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound.
Verse 11.
And he said unto her, if they bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak and be as another man.
Verse 12.
Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound him therewith, and said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And there were liars in wait, abiding in the chambers, and he brake them from off his arms like a thread.
All right, so now when she said, okay, you know what, you're mocking me, you're lying to me, what's wrong with him?
I know, right?
He said, wait, you said stupid. spiritually stupid.
Yeah.
Can't you clue in when
Yeah.
people don't care about you?
And naturally stupid.
There you go. Like goodness. So then these new ropes. Then she ties him up again. And then there's the men waiting to get him. And then he just gets up and breaks them off again. All right, verse 13.
And Delilah said unto Samson, Hitherto thou hast mocked me, and told me lies. Tell me, wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, If thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web.
14.
And she fastened it with a pin, and said unto him, The Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awaked out of his sleep, and went away with the pin of the beam, and with the web.
So he walked around with the big whatever in his hair. But you see, he's getting closer now to telling the truth.
Right, right.
Why do you feel so comfortable going to sleep with this woman in her place? And this is, what did it say, 3 strikes? This is her 3rd strike right here. But he gets up and walks out with the plank or whatever it is in his hair. All right, but see, Yahweh going to put a stop to it because he should have never been in that situation.
Right.
Verse 5, and then he's playing with what Yahweh has given him as a gift.
Right.
Verse 15.
And she said unto him, How canst thou say, I love thee, when thy heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lieth.
All right, so she's saying some powerful words, but her heart is not with Shimshon.
I know, right?
That's obvious.
I know, right?
You say, no, now how can you say you love me? And women do that, men will too.
Yeah.
You know, you say you love me.
And then the woman, yeah, well, you know, how can you say you love me and you won't do
Right.
this or this or that? All right, but those are not Yahweh's people. They don't do that. All right, verse 16.
And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death.
That's bad.
I know,
17.
right?
Then
Let
he
somebody
told
push up
her-
on you till you just vex
I
them
know, right?
to death. All right, 17.
Then he told her all his heart, and said unto her, There hath not come a razor upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite unto Elohim from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man.
Verse 18.
And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the masters of the Philistines, saying, Come up this once, for he hath shrewd me all his heart. Then the masters of the Philistines came up unto her, and brought money into their hands.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Please have mercy, make me one of your men, cause my people lost. Try to take them where you found them. It's where you found me, but this earth is hell surroundings. Satan's head is everywhere, I flip a new page.